Greetings, this is Top Hat and Buttered Popcorn. My name is John Savers. I'm your host, and today we'll look at a film or two, beginning with Jeepers Creepers. This is a film that stars Gina Philips and Justin Long and a cast of many. The film appears to be and is a budget-type film. It appears to be a very deliberately made horror-type film, horror genre. Nevertheless, the film has a number of things positive about it. In the first instance, besides the tried and true techniques, Gina Philips is a good-looking young actress, which is not all that common in Hollywood nowadays. Secondly, there is a couple of female characters, support characters, who add a certain touch. There's a sort of hoodoo woman, and there's also a sort of ultra woman with a bunch of cats and so forth. And lastly, but certainly not leastly, they have an effective monster or villain demon here. Well, let's get back now to the main story, shall we? We do see these two heading on out. We have a bright day. They leave on a very bright day. They're happy. They're in good humor. They have no innocence. They have no notion of the grimness that they'll meet ahead. Now, they take a little time here to make a point that Justin Long is taking some soiled underclothes, clothing with him, presumably to be cleaned by Mom. And we see Gina Philips even throwing in a scent deal inside the bag that contains the clothing. They have a late model car, and they head on out, and things go well enough. They're sort of talking a normal sort of talk and in good spirits. Parenthetically, I should point out that Gina Philips' character in this particular film, the sister, who's a little bit too much on the tough side, and Justin Long is her brother, a younger brother, I presume, who's just a little bit more on the soft side, compassionate, and so forth. So there you have it. They continue driving. They go past this old, boarded-up, looking decrepit church, and in the yard there is this vehicle. They may suspect that there is someone there who needs help, but at this point in time, when they see that vehicle start up and whatnot, they're not going to offer assistance at this point in time. Well, this truck goes after them again big time and knocks them off the road virtually, but they do again manage to elude the truck, and they find their way back to this church. Now, this church is giving off all kinds of bad signals right from the beginning because, first of all, it's a broken down, decrepit-looking church, more or less symbolizing a loss of holiness or goodness. It's gone, it's vacant, nothing but the shell left. Also, this thing is covered, the whole area has quite a lot of blackbirds, a symbol of death. Well, they get back into the yard of this church and they spy this sort of diagonal pipe coming out of the ground, the church yard. Big Sister is not too happy about sticking around. Let's go. This is stupid. We got to move on. We haven't got the time for this. But her brother thinks that maybe somebody there needs help or something. He wants to look in that pipe. He thinks he hears something. He goes and looks in the pipe. It's rather dark down there. It's a pipe I make to be about 40 inches wide, rusted. Hello? Anyone down there? Hello? He thinks he hears something. He rushes past Gina Philips, goes to the car to get his flashlight, and comes back. He scampers into the pipe after telling his sister to grab his feet, hold his feet, wants to get a better look. Well, he gets down and he's kind of flashing the light down and, hello, anyone, I think, who is that? And all of a sudden, welling out of the pipes, all kinds of rats, big rats. Well, of course, this is a tried and true formula for giving people dread and loathing and fear and heebie-jeebies. Well, it certainly worked on Gina Philips. She lost the grip on her brother's ankles as the rats came forward. Down he goes into this darkness, a pretty long slide it seems. Then all of a sudden, splat, there he goes, crashing down on this rectangular sword of light. Now, where this rectangular sword of light came from a circular pipe, I can't say. But it's there. Yeah, he's on his back. He's really shaken up here. He feels the back of his head. Yeah, he got a good whack, a conk. He's got a little blood showing, I believe. Shakily, he gets himself up and kind of looks around. He lets his sister know he's okay. Wait, he thinks he hears something off into the dark at the right. He walks over there to investigate. Well, what does he see but a lot of suspicious-looking, wrapped-up entities about human size. If you get a human and wrapped it in a blanket and so forth, it'd be about that size. Well, he goes past one. There's another one that's kind of up on a platform of some sort. It seems to be maybe the source of the moaning. He gets up close. He starts to pull away a little bit. He maybe uncovers the face a little bit. We see, at any rate, a grayish, bluish young fellow, and he's in bad straits. Yeah, he's in really bad straits. Pulling away, Justin Long's character is grabbed on the lower part of the leg by this fellow, this really bad fellow. Must have expended about the last little piece of energy he had. Shaking himself loose from the grip, Justin Long looks at him a little bit more carefully, pulls the wrappings away from the abdominal area, the torso. He sees this very long, ugly-looking scar, crudely stitched together. And yeah, you kind of get an idea why this guy is feeling so low. Well, now Justin is all shook up by all this kind of thing. You know, it really got to him. He goes back to the area of the light, looks up the pipe toward his sister, says, "You've got to get help. You've got to go out and find some help somewhere." Now she is kind of like, not sure what to do. Should I stay here? Should I go? My brother, he's so dumb and stuff, no telling him. Maybe it'd be best if I stayed here. What to do? Now go and get some help. I'm going to find my way out of here. There's got to be a way back into the church. And well, I'm trying to get out of here. You get some help. Well, this happens. It looks like Gina Philips' idea of getting help is to go and park her car alongside the entranceway to the church, right at this remote, deserted street, and wait for a car to pass to hail. Well, everyone knows immediately they're going to be few and far between. But at any rate, the camera then follows Justin Long's character as he walks into this rather cavernous area. It's almost like a cave. As he goes a little further, he sees a plethora of these wrapped up entities. And the moviegoer has a pretty good idea what might be inside those bundles. Yeah, probably the same thing is on the ceilings and pasted against the walls and so forth. Bodies, the naked bodies, partially clothed bodies all over the place. They look petrified and glued to the roof and ceiling and so forth. Well, he's sort of numbingly making his way through this catacomb of horror. Furthermore, she is kind of riveted to the road, and suddenly, from the left passenger side, the driver's side, her brother appears on the scene. He's looking rather soiled, grimy from his spelunking, as it were, and he looks 3 sheets to the wind, too. We get a good scare technique here by this sudden appearance. She certainly is taken aback, and when she sees it's her brother, she says, well, you know, get on in and whatnot. Privately, she's probably thinking, you know, he's all 3 sheets to the wind and whatnot. I'm going to have to hold myself together, going to keep this thing together for us. He's not going to be too much use. Well, they decide to go and get help, and they go down the road. Again, nothing but nothing there. They stumble upon a service station cafe, and they pull in and they enter. Inside are a crowd of local people. They appear to be the typical not too bright sort, country sort that bi-coastal filmdom imagines for the heartland in the South and so forth. They're gnawing on grits and eggs and cornbread or whatever. Someone has got to call the police, these two announce. Well, they look at them. They're looking rather strange. They're outsiders. Moreover, while they're near the payphone, they may have been planning to call home or to get in touch with someone. But the phone rings, and it turns out to be for them. They hear this very strange female voice. She's talking about, he's after you. When you hear Jeepers Creepers, run for it. Don't let him smell your clothes. You're a goner. About this time, there's a camera cut to the outside, and we see this strange figure breaking into the vehicle of the two and opening a bag and sniffing what we perceive to be Jason Long's soiled clothing. We cut back. We hear anyway the rest of this strange telephone spiel about an old lady and cats, about a demon who comes out every 23 years for 23 days. He's allowed to come out by his spirit controls, allowed to eat humans, and beware, watch out, and then click. Wow, what a crazy place. I'll be glad to get back to Florida, home or someplace. What kind of place, what kind of phone call was that anyway? Well, they're a bunch of weird people. They make up their mind about that. But here come the police. There have been a little preliminary nasty comments, I think along the line of primitive or Neanderthal or something. It's a male-female team. They look okay to me. He comes up. He's helpful. They go out to reconnoiter this church to see this oodles of bodies that this lad is claiming to have seen. And other cops have also been called. But by the time they get there, the place is ablaze. Now, I don't know if whoever killed these people, embalmed them with some sort of petrol base, but boy, do they burn, huh? And so there's a question whether or not there would be any evidence left. They form a little convoy, the young folks up front, the police behind, and it's not long before this big rusty-looking truck is right behind them, and sure enough, it begins to ram the police car and basically knocks it into uselessness. The youngsters are kind of stopped ahead. They're looking back. They seem to be almost paralyzed by the event. They're curious about who it is, what it is, and so forth, and yet scared too. They see this creature finally come out of this truck. And it's a pretty well done creature. We see a male-like figure, rather tall and lean and muscular, wearing a hat with a large brim and what appears to be an Australian duster type of clothing. He seems to be lacking a little bit in the area of dentures and the area of the eyes and skin and whatnot. Surely a plastic surgeon's nightmare. At any rate, he manages to take the head of the male police officer, and while the kids are looking, he begins to eat the tongue of this particular police officer, it appears, kind of pulling it out at any rate. Well, we know this is no deli, so what's going on here? Well, it just so happens this film is using a technique. We have something of a patchwork monster. And therefore he more resembles the old classic Frankenstein monster. He is taking that tongue to use as his tongue. It's now going to be incorporated as his tongue in his 23 days of gathering together parts and whatnot. Now there is a question with all those bodies, surely he's the one who did it, all those bodies in that cavernous church area, surely he could have gotten a suitable tongue by now, but let's not dig too deeply into this storyline. Well, now he's coming toward the kids, and they say, wow, but Gina Philips is a tough cookie. However, he was a great leaper, and you know, backwards, somersaults, any of it. So he is proving to be a hard creature to run over, which is what Gina Philips is trying to do. But she finally nails him after quite a bit of effort, runs over the demon, as it were, maybe a dozen times, quite a lot of times, enough to leave tread marks, as it were, deep furrows in the monster. But you know as well as I do that these monsters are hard to kill, but this one is in bad straits, no doubt. It turns out he has wings. He tries to cock his wings, and they are really looking very pitiful at this point in time. The two, Gina and Justin, head on out as quickly as they can, spinning wheels and all that. They're looking for help. It's night, you know, and getting foggy, maybe a little too. So they're running along this area, which is incredibly deserted. It's like there's no there, so to speak. They finally, however, come upon this little house set back, a wooden house. They decide to pull into the driveway and see if they can use the telephone. They jump out of the car, hallooing and banging on the wooden doors and so forth. There's kind of a screened-off front porch. Inside this screened-off porch are just a bunch of cats, beaucoup cats. An old lady comes out. We see her backlighted, so she's indistinct, and we hear her voice, and it sounds sort of like the voice on the phone. Is that weirdo who called on the phone? Well, she sort of talks something like this. What troubles did you boys, you young people, bring me? And something of this sort. She senses that they bode ill for her. She seems to glimpse something. She goes back in and comes back. She goes out into the yard. She's carrying a shotgun. The camera kind of cuts to the yard a little bit. We see off to the side a small garden, and there's a scarecrow backlit. We can tell immediately, those of us who are savvy, it's the demon. Yeah, he is pretending to be the scarecrow. Doesn't fool the old lady at all. She says, "You're not my scarecrow. Better get out of here. I'm going to blow you apart." Well, she lets loose a couple of times, and ba-boom, ba-boom. This creature, it turns out, is quick. Whew. It's in the house before you know it. The old lady goes into the house again, her shotgun ready. The youngsters outside in the yard watching. She goes in, she goes into the back. We hear ba-boom, ba-boom, and a couple of flashes of light. Then we hear this, ah! Yeah, we know that things are not going to go real well for this old lady. Well, certainly the youngsters know. They'll get into their vehicle and try to get out of there as fast as they can. Of course, now, again, we have trouble getting into gear, and we have the spinning wheels and so forth. They finally make it to a police station. And in the police station, they come in and tell the story. The top cop seems to be pretty much taking them seriously. There have been strange goings-on. The police have been already part of that. He surely knows now about the missing two officers, if not knowing that they're dead, at least knowing that they're not responding. We also see the police bringing in some mischief makers, some people who've been up to no good, taking them down to the detention center below. As the youngsters are talking to the police officer, we hear this commotion from a woman outside, and she finds her way in. She is known to this top cop who says, let her in, and so forth. She's a seer or prophet of some sort. She, ESP type, I should say. She comes in and sees the two youngsters and finds out that they're the ones that she talked to on the telephone. She explains to them that she has seen these things. She's not experienced it. It's a vision. She saw the whole thing. And when she learns that the creature has smelled Justin's clothing, soiled clothing, she said, oh, Lordy, 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 let me get you out of here. Well, we've heard Jeepers Creepers in one fashion or another throughout this film. I would say at least 3 or 4 different times the music popped up in one way or another. This woman has already told this duo that if they hear Jeepers Creepers, run for it, especially if he smelled your clothes. She takes the two upstairs to what she considers a reasonably safe area. Meanwhile, there's a call to the top cop from below. Something's not right, better get on down here. Well, the top cop gets down there, and he looks over, and we see the back of what we take to be, we know to be, this demon. And he's doing something entirely irregular to a couple of inmates who appear to be either dead or dying. Okay, get out of here, go upstairs, quick, quick, quick. So the top cop rustles everybody up, even those in the cells who are still alive, and they go up to the first floor and build a kind of a barricade. So there it is, they have the demon below, the police on the first floor, barricaded and well armed, and the brother, sister, and the hoodoo woman upstairs. Well, it looks like it could be tough for the demon, but not to worry. This is a great broken field runner. He can run on the ceilings, run on the walls, fast as all get out. So here he comes, and the police let loose with a fusillade, ba-boom, ba-boom, pa-pa-pa-pa. But it doesn't take the beast down. He gets out. I think he actually makes it into the second floor by means of a window, and he comes forward. Now, Gina Philips at this time walks forward and kind of confronts the demon. And it's a matter of sister oblige, I guess, sort of the corrective of the nobles. But at any rate, she says to this demon, hey, why don't you take me? I taste better. I'm more nutritious. I'll be better for you. Leave my brother be. And the demon more or less says in so many words, no way, Jose. So he has smelled the goods, and he wants Justin Long. He grabs Justin Long. His wings, by the way, are back in good order, and they're looking good. This is a pretty well designed pair of wings. He goes out the window, flying, carrying Justin Long. I think that the hoodoo woman and Gina come to a hard turn here. We see the two silhouetted against the moon as they go off. There's an epilogue in which we see another sort of deserted room, a large room apparently. Appears to be dusty, maybe even cobwebby. There seems to be some sort of chemistry lab type stuff in there too. The camera is panning all the while, and now it brings into the picture the body, the person of Justin Long's character, hanging from a rafter, apparently much as you would expect a tortured victim at of the Inquisition to be hanging. The camera rests pretty much square on the Justin Long character, and as we look at him, we say, hey, something's not right here. Yeah, there are giant holes in his head where the eyes used to be, goes all the way through the head. Well, that's not right. Then we notice there's some kind of figure behind, and it starts to move. Then we see it's the demon. We see that he has a pair of eyes now. While this is going on, the song Jeepers Creepers is playing. The demon moving in back of Justin Long suddenly becomes square behind him, and the holes in Justin Long's head seem to be filled by the eyes of the demon behind him. And at that point, the song reaches the words, "Where'd you get those eyes?" Well, it's a revelation that we all understand, and fairly grisly, and all in all, a pretty effective budget horror. Let's just take a moment here to hear from a fan, okay?
Thanks, Jonathan.
Well, that's it, folks. That's a wrap. That's all the time we have. This is Top Hat and Buttered Popcorn. My name is John Savers. I'm your host. I appreciate your tuning in and hope to see you again next time.